Good evening and welcome to Friday Night's We Are Leeds. Coming up tonight, are you ready for the Lions? We'll catch up with Simon Grayson and Johnny Howson up at Thorpe Arch with James, and Eddie Gray's in the studio to preview the weekend's action. Good evening and welcome to We Are Leeds, and we're joined in the studio by Eddie Gray. Hello, sir.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Eddie, it's Millwall at the weekend. It's a game everybody's looking forward to.
Big game. Bit of history between the two clubs. Been some tense games in the past, but this is a big one. Game in the Championship. They've started very well. We brightened up in the second half. Second half against Forest, I thought we played quite well. I thought we deserved probably to win the game. So that should give the players a lot of confidence going into what will be a very tough game against Millwall, because they're on fire. They've started very well.
More from Eddie on the game in a moment, but first let's go up to Thorpe Arch. James Stanley's been with Simon Grayson and Johnny Howson.
So the final preparations here at the training ground are taking place ahead of the lunchtime kick-off against Millwall. But how are Johnny Howson and Simon Grayson feeling ahead of what could be a massive game for Leeds?
I think it's like any game, you have to win the battle to start with in terms of win your tackles, win your headers, and then when you get a chance to play, you go and play. But both teams have got some good quality players. You look at the two wide players for them and the strikers, we've got some good individuals who are talented players as well. So it's like no matter who you're playing, you want to win the battle and earn the right to play, and we always do that.
I don't think there's any surprise in this league, or football for that matter. You know, we found out last season they're a very good side, hard working, they're strong, and obviously after the playoff win they're going to come up with confidence, and we've seen that. So yeah, we know they're a good side, as I said, so we'll be expecting a very tough game come the weekend.
Last Saturday Sunday was a big result for us in terms of nobody likes to lose the first two games of the season. Disappointed with the derby game, but we showed a lot last week and a lot of encouraging signs. So to get that first point away from home was a big boost for us. We'll go into the game at the weekend trying to build off what we did last Sunday.
Simon Grayson and Johnny Howson up at Thorpe Arch with James Stanley. Eddie, Simon mentions battles and winning battles. It's always a bit of a battle against Millwall.
Well, that's the important factor, I think, in the game, because in recent games we've played against them, they've won the battle. I mean, the two boys in the middle of the park, Trotter and Abdu, have played very well against us. The boys up front have been sharp. But it's that battle that Simon's on about. That, you know, to win that midfield area, that's going to be important tomorrow. And when they've played us in the past, they've took charge of that, and that's why they've got the upper hand in results recently.
Simon also talked about the wide players. Both sides have very important wide men.
Oh yeah, I mean, Danny Schofield plays with them, and they've got the boy Henry. They're pretty useful. And you look at Lisby up front as well. If he plays up front alongside Morris, it'll be interesting to see what formation we play, Ben, because you know Simon at the start of the season favoured the 4-5-1, 5 players in midfield area. But then he had to change it against Forest, and it worked very well. And I don't know if he'll do the same again and play 2 up front to match them up, because I think they look as if they'll play, you know, a rigid 4-4-2 with 2 wide players, 2 central midfield players and 2 front boys, and a flat back 4.
One man who's almost going to be like a new signing tomorrow is David Sommer, who was on loan at Lincoln late last season, suspended for the first part of this season. Can he force his way into the action?
I've not really seen a lot of him, Ben, but what I've seen of him, I think he looks big, he looks powerful. He looks to have a good touch on the ball as well. And it wouldn't surprise me if he made rapid strides this season. You know, I think the thing about somebody like David Sommer, he comes to the football club, he's not had a lot of experience in the league. He gets loaned out, now he comes back in, he's got to know the system, the players, how Simon wants to operate. And I think he seems to be gathering in pretty quickly.
Some odds from the SportingBet.com official betting partner of Leeds United. Leeds United to win 2-1 is 8-1. And Lloyd Sam to carry on his goal-scoring spree 9-1. Any interest?
I think there's interest in both. You know, Lloyd Sam, he scored the header last week. He was unlucky with a shot second half. He got blocked. If I was picking a result myself tomorrow, I'd go for a draw, and I'd go for a 2-2 draw. I think there'll be a few goals in the game. I think they'll be a tough team to beat. I think they'll come here with a lot of confidence. And I don't think a point would be bad for us. I hope we pick the 3 points up, but I would go for 2 each tomorrow.
Eddie, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben.
I think it's probably worth pointing out that at this stage last week, Eddie did predict a 1-1 draw between Forest and Leeds. And more details on all the odds with sportingbet.com on the website www.leedsunited.com. And tomorrow is a first. The game will be available on an LUTV box office pay-per-view. We'll give you details of that before the end of We Are Leeds tonight. In the meantime, though, it's back to Lorimer's Bar on Tuesday night. Peter Lorimer hosted Sean Harvey, the Leeds chief exec, Gwyn Williams, the technical director, Neil Collins and Richard Naylor. We've more from Lorimer's Bar, starting with new signing Neil Collins.
I think I said at the end of last season that I enjoyed my time a lot here last year. I felt that I had a kind of bad spell at Preston. I wasn't enjoying being at Preston. The football for myself wasn't going great, and then to come here, it was that breath of fresh air. Backroom staff, the players, the fans, just playing at Ellen Road, I loved it. So then when we got promoted, I thought I hoped there was a chance to come back here, and when everything got agreed, I was obviously the only club I wanted to come to was Leeds United, so it was a very, very easy choice. And then I think having been here, as I said, made it all the easier. But even if I hadn't been here, it's a kind of club a lot of players want to come and play for, so to get that chance was brilliant. Really pleased.
As I was led to believe when they brought in these guys behind the goal in Europa matches, they were only to make decisions basically along the line. As such, corner kicks, was the ball over the line or not. I mean, really, in that position, they can't make any decent input by offside things or things like that, because they're not in line. So it'll be quite interesting to see what they do and what authority, if they do bring the 5 officials in, Sean, they would give them. Certainly, I don't think a referee, looking at the group of players at the weekend, right in front of him, I don't know how he could have missed it. I mean, I do think that's one of the things when you watch the game now. It's come into the game more and more, this pulling and shoving in the box, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, and it just needs somebody, I think probably the head of referees, to come down and say, look, we've got to clamp down on this. They clamp down on other things, they clamp down on things that are not actually relative to the outcome of the game. I mean, that decision at the weekend was probably would have meant we'd have won the game if we'd have got the penalty and scored it. So I think they've got to do something about these decisions in the box, because these are relating to the actual result of the football match. So I think they've got to be more positive on this, and give more penalties and start saying, look, we've got to stop this. I mean, anybody who watched that game, any referee who watched that game, anybody from the Football League who obviously watched the film, if they watched that, the head of referee should be wanting to know from that referee why he did not give the penalty. And if he said he didn't see that, well, it wasn't something that happened in a second. First he had him with one arm and realised he wasn't getting him. Then he brought his other arm over. So it was something that lasted quite a period of time, and I'm sure the referee must have seen it.
Next up on We Are Leeds, and some quick transfer news. Liam Darville, the 19-year-old Leeds United player, has extended his loan deal with Tranmere until January. Now, initially he was there on a 1-month loan, but he's impressed Les Parry in the first 3 games of the season, and that's now been extended until January. Next up, and Leeds United will be live on LUTV tomorrow against Millwall. The club has so far gained international permission to make the game available in South Africa, Germany and Spain, but still hopes to add more countries between now and kick-off. Now, the game will be available to existing subscribers at a cost of £5, but non-subscribers can take advantage of the offer by taking up either a monthly or yearly subscription as part of the pay-per-view package. More details on this on the website www.leedsunited.com. Well, that's almost it for another week of We Are Leeds. On Monday, Eddie is back in the studio with his analysis of the game against Millwall. But don't forget, if you'd like to keep up to date with everything happening on We Are Leeds, you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/WeAreLeeds_LUTV. That's twitter.com/WeAreLeeds_LUTV. And we'll be back Monday night from 6. But for tonight, enjoy the game. That is your lot. Thank you and good night.